Hi, everyone. Today, I get to listen to this week's poll winner from Patreon, and this time the song is John Lennon's Working Class Hero from 1970. According to Lennon, the song is about working class people being processed into the middle classes, into the machine. Lennon said, "I think it's a revolutionary song. It's really just revolutionary. I just think its concept is revolutionary. I hope it's for workers and not for tarts and fags." Okay. I hope it's about what Give Peace a Chance was about, but I don't know. On the other hand, it might just be ignored. I think it's for the people like me who are working class, who are supposed to be processed into the middle classes or into the machinery. It's my experience, and I hope it's just a warning to people. Working class hero. That's an interesting statement. A couple things stand out to me about it. This idea that he identifies still with the working class, people like me who are just working class people. Interesting, because Lennon got to the point where he was no longer just working class, right? At least financially, we'd say. Although I have to admit, he did work long and hard. And the other thing is, it sounds to me like he's a little bit ambivalent about what is the message of this song. Well, I haven't listened to the song yet, so let's just listen and see how it develops. But those are the two things that stand out to me at the beginning.
As soon as you're born, they make you feel small by giving you no time instead of it all, till the pain is so big you feel nothing at all. A working class hero is something to be. A working class hero is something to be. They hurt you at home and they hit you at school. They hate you if you're clever, and they despise a fool, till you're so fucking crazy you can't follow their rules. A working class hero is something to be. A working class hero is something to be.
Okay, you know what? Listening to the music, as well as what he's singing here, it takes me so strongly towards Pink Floyd's The Wall. I can't help but wonder if maybe Pink Floyd and Waters and you know, that whole group might have been influenced by this song in particular. It's not just the message of the song, although as soon as you're born, they make you feel small by giving you no time instead of it all, till the pain is so big you feel nothing at all. A working class hero is something to be. You hear the same message even going on. They hurt you at home and they hit you at school. They hate you if you're clever and they despise a fool. That makes me think of those lines are carrying the same message as what is it? We don't want no education. Is that the title of it? That's the line in the song that I'm remembering. But yeah, we don't want no education. No, it's called something else. Vlad, help me out.
Another brick in the wall.
Another brick in the wall. Yes, thank you. I've been through this whole album, but the lyrics are what stick in my mind rather than the titles. So there we go. Right. So this working class hero song has more than just the lyrics and the message in common with that, Pink Floyd's The Wall, especially something like We Don't Want No Education or Another Brick in the Wall. I'm also listening to the accompaniment. Dum, 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 dum. The simple alternating. There are places in The Wall, which, if we were just to add a little bit of warm brass and a little bit more warmth and perhaps recording art, miking, reverb, whatever they do in the recording process and editing afterwards, to give a little bit more smooth sustain to the sound. This could totally have been pulled from something like that. Or rather, that's why I say, because obviously The Wall is after Working Class Hero. So that's why I say, I wonder if this song maybe had a good bit of influence on Pink Floyd and even the development of their sound. It's something that I would have to take some time and explore. But I hear links, I hear connections, musically, sonically, structurally, design-wise, as well as ideology.
A working class hero is something to be.
Even the way...
A working class hero is something to be.
Even the way he's making the guitar sound. It's almost like he's conjuring this sort of brass band feel down there. Bum, bum. And you hear the swelling and then the diminishing. It's like this piece is, to my ears, and maybe it's just because I've spent so much time with Pink Floyd's The Wall, but to my ears, it's begging for a similar treatment.
A working class hero is something to be. A working class hero is something to be. When they've tortured and scared you for 20 odd years, then they expect you to pick a career.
I'm also interested in the way he's using his voice in different lines, the different tonal coloring and mood he's setting, the way he's communicating with his voice. I've talked about this with John's voice in the past, but it's been a while actually, I think, since I've discussed any of it. But here it's standing out again. Notice the way he sings differently from when they've tortured and scared you for 20 odd years, and then they expect you to pick a career. And listen to how his voice changes there.
When they've tortured and scared you for 20 odd years, then they expect you to pick a career.
Like they expect you to? You hear it in his voice.
When you can't really
Darker.
function, you're so full
Depressed.
of fear.
Whoa, down there, depressed.
A working class hero is something to be.
Cynicism.
A working class hero is something to be. Keep you doped with religion and sex and TV, and you think you're so clever and classless and free, but you're still fucking peasants as far as I can see. A working class hero is something to be.
It also makes me think of the other John Lennon pieces that I have heard in the incredible simplicity of the music. For example, Imagine. It's been a while since I listened to that one for the first time, but I remember I was struck at how, when I heard it for the first time, it was such a simple musical creation. And this too, so incredibly simple. It's as if Lennon went through the whole Beatles period where he was experimenting with all kinds of stuff and pushing the limits and seeing how far he could go this way, that way. And now, post-Beatles, Working Class Hero and his other output that I've heard, which granted isn't a lot yet, right? I've been focusing on the Beatles, but this is John Lennon. It's as if he's returned and said, all right, that's all great. But sometimes when I want to really send a message, I'm going to choose the simplest vehicle possible. It's still music, but you could say that this is very much in the style of a simple folk song or folk anthem, something that is so incredibly basic, harmonically, texturally, melodically, very simple, very consistent, very basic. It does something. It makes it so that the music itself is not so much a part of communicating the song. Sometimes I talk about how the music paints the text sometimes, or the music manages to convey or communicate a part of the story or a part of the message that is not even spoken not even verbalized in the lyrics. Sometimes you don't even hear it vocally. It's not in the melody, it's not in the instrumentation, it's simply in the musical structure and design that we find something. In this case, it's different. In this case, it's not at all about the music. The music is simply dun, 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 with some strumming. And I could read into it. I could apply, place a message on it. But, and maybe I'll do that. Okay, let's do that just as an exercise. Let's say that this dong, dong is kind of like the pendulum swinging. In other words, it's either the slow footsteps, labored footsteps of somebody who's just plodding through life, or it's simply the pendulum of time swinging and everything continues on. There's not a lot of musical variety and development. It's just accompaniment. You could say that is, you could say, all right, let's just say that is a manifestation of the way in which this life which he's portraying here lyrically it doesn't develop, it doesn't progress. It's just becoming part of the machine and moving on and moving. Okay, we could say that. We could. And maybe somebody might think that is appropriate. Myself, as a musician, although I'm always looking to the music to see what is the music contributing to the message, I feel like in this case, the music is purely a vehicle for the lyrics. The music is not trying to communicate anything about the message itself. It's simply serving as the means in which this message is delivered. And I don't feel like it's appropriate to try to apply something like that to this accompaniment, to the melody, because as much as I could apply that in this context, we could put a whole different set of lyrics with a whole different message, a whole different emotional palette, and pull something out of the same tune, the same accompaniment, the exact same music to apply to something else. In other words, it's generic, meaning it has no message in and of itself. That's not necessarily a fault. It's simply the way in which the music and the lyrics balance in terms of what is being delivered. It's a very singable, as I said, approachable, relatable, simple tune, very much like a folk tune, easy to remember. It has highs and lows, which work well in delivering this. It's very appropriate, but it is not trying to do anything on its own to either color or enhance the message of the lyrics.
But you're still fucking peasants as far as I can see.
I like the way you dress down there, as far as I can see.
A working class hero is something to be.
I just remembered. Why did I go into that whole discussion about the music? Because this set of lyrics, this message here, sounds like something which we might easily hear in a much more emotionally disturbed or distressed musical delivery. Let's say some metal or something like that, or an intense blues delivery or something like that. It could totally be done that way. But the utter simplicity of the music and the sort of monotony, the continual, almost, you might almost say, mechanical progression of the music, the inevitability of it that it carries, makes us start to feel each line of these lyrics so deeply, so powerfully. And we feel it within ourselves rather than having somebody scream it at us or overwhelm us with their urgency and their intensity. Instead, we start to feel it, this building up of emotion and revolt against this scenario within ourselves. And that is why I say that this musical approach to the piece is not necessarily a weakness. In fact, it is a great part of why this song has such a profound impact as we listen start to finish. And of course, I'm pausing as I'm commenting throughout here, but I can hear, and with my oral memory, I can even feel it, that this song, played start to finish unbroken, has an incredible strength and force to its message because of the way it's delivered musically and vocally, because it doesn't put on any airs, it doesn't bring in any drama, it simply sings the story.
A working class hero is something to be.
It's inevitable.
A working class hero
It's inescapable.
is something to be. There's room at the top, they are telling you still.
And his delivery as well, his vocal delivery.
First you must learn how to smile
As I said, the way he handles each line.
If you want to be like the folks
If
on
you
the
want to
hill.
be.
A working class hero is something to be.
Okay, now you start to feel some power.
Something to be.
And it's building and swelling.
If you want to be a hero, well, just follow me. If you want to be a hero, well, just follow me.
And the ending there, so, again, so unpretentious, so simple, so basic. If you want to be a hero, well, just follow me. I almost thought it was going to end right there, but then wait a little bit. The end. So final, so inarguable. You can't fight against it. Because it's not even presented in a way that is meant to be fought against, right? The music is not violent. It's not up in arms. It's not doing anything other than being an ordinary working class hero of music. Well, as I said earlier in the song, there's so much about this that makes me think that it may have been an influence, or if not an influence, at least a precursor, an early manifestation of the musical style and approach which Pink Floyd developed into The Wall. And it's interesting to me to compare these two as I'm sitting here, because I hear this and then I hear in my memory parts of The Wall which are so similar. And as I talked about the instrumental differences, the way this song itself could be developed, and I think the difference is that Pink Floyd's approach with their voices, their instrumentation, of course the brass that they brought in, all of that, makes it more of a sonic experience. It takes this music, this instrumental part of the music, and perhaps we could say it reveals more of the emotional potential. Whereas here, what John Lennon has done is he's taken this and he has created a piece which is not really as I said, it's not really emotionally developed in itself. Interesting. Thinking of the way he's talking about the working class hero not being very developed as well. Not emotionally developed in itself. But as we feel that, it develops the emotions within ourselves more than in the music. And that's a really, really powerful experience. And one that, as much as I say this is a simple piece of music, incredibly simple, it's one in which we can feel the deep songwriting experience of Lennon. Because there has to be just the right balance. There has to be, it's almost like this instinct has to develop. It's very rare for somebody to create a piece like this with such a powerful impact just out of the blue without a lot of experience. This kind of songwriting comes from a deep and long and extensive experience and learning what works. And you develop an instinct. It's not so much studied. It becomes an instinct, a part of someone. And you're able to produce something like this, which when you start unraveling it, you say, on one hand, there's not a lot there. On the other hand, everything is exactly as it should be to get the effect, to create the impact it was meant to do. So this was very interesting, and I'm really glad that I have gotten to hear this, and it fascinates me. I have to say that I'm really curious now to go back and see, refresh my memory about the links between perhaps Pink Floyd and Beatles and so on. But an incredibly powerful song, incredibly simply built. Working Class Hero, John Lennon's song in which, what did he say? I hope it's my experience. I hope it's just a warning to people. It's my experience. That's another thing that stood out to me. This is what Lennon feels as his own experience. Interesting, because as I said, he ended up not being part of the working class, although he certainly came from that world and he lived in that world and he grew up in that world. And apparently it was so much a part of him that he still identified with that world. And that is another thing that makes this song feel so genuine, I think. It doesn't feel put on. It doesn't feel like some rich, successful music star is writing a song to try to connect with some part of their audience. It feels like it comes from their own identity. And that is another reason it's so impactful. So, for such a simple song, so much to explore, so much to think about, so many different connections. Thank you all who voted for this. This has been a really interesting and, let's say, intriguing and motivating listen for me to go look up some more connections and explore some more lines of musical development. That is my first time hearing Working Class Hero, and I am so looking forward to what you choose for me next week. I'll see you soon.